Alright, this is going to be a deck tech for my very first commander deck that I made, Thassa, God of the Sea. This was the first commander I chose to play because I felt like it's the ideal commander. It's difficult to deal with because it's indestructible, and when you play it early, it's not a creature because you don't have enough devotion, so creature removal doesn't work on it early. So because of that, it's resilient, and the ability to scry during my upkeep is a significant advantage the longer the game goes on, because I'm making sure that I'm hitting my land drops, or I'm avoiding flooding because of that continuous scry effect. So, and then of course, making creatures unblockable. That's a great way to finish a game. So we're gonna get right into the cards. This is gonna be by mana cost. So the first one is Ancestral Vision. It's a slow Ancestral Recall. Seal of Removal. Chosen because it does represent one devotion before you end up using it, and you never know when you might want to bounce something or have the threat of being able to bounce something. Brainstorm. This is a classic. Not as strong in my deck because I don't have many shuffle effects, but it's never not going to be in the deck because it's one of the most enjoyable cards to play. Rapid Hybridization, very efficient removal spell. Same thing, Chain of Vapor. It's an interesting bounce spell that does have counterplay, and I enjoy playing a card like this in a multiplayer format because then it could bring in additional targets. You never know. Disrupt. This is a classic. Oftentimes it's just a cantrip, but sometimes it's a blowout. When it is a blowout, it's a thing of beauty. Soul Ring, just mana ramp. Sensei's Divining Top. This is in the deck specifically for counterbalance, but it also works well with the ability to scry. So I'm filtering through even faster, getting rid of the cards that you don't want to see. Cloud of Fairies. It's only one devotion, but it's efficient, so I play it. Spreading Seas. This is a good card. It's a cantrip that adds a devotion and can potentially deny mana, or allow me to be unblockable if I happen to have Island Walk. Fogbank, just a good blocker. Jace, this is the flip card, so I'll actually show you the real one. So he's in the deck mainly for the Snapcaster Mage effect, which I play Snapcaster Mage. Standstill. This is a classic spell, and it's really good in this deck in particular because if I already have Thassa out and I play a Standstill, I'm in a better position because since no one wants to be the one to actually cast anything, you want to make sure you're still hitting your land drops, and having Scry can help you make sure you hit those land drops. Counterbalance. It has two devotions, so that's good. And when I have Sensei's Divining Top, it can be a soft lock on one's casting cost spells. Tidebinder Mage. Someone's playing red or green, you know it. Kami of the Crescent Moon. This is a risky card because giving your opponent's card advantage is not generally advisable. Harbinger of the Tides. Legacy's Allure. This is one of the ways I can steal creatures. Wan Chitong. This is a perfect blue devotion card. Play it for 2 most of the time, but there are situations where you get to play it for a lot, which is nice too. Cyclonic Rift. That overload is perfect in multiplayer. End of your turn, overload, and then I untap, cast something like, Windfall or something crazy. Counterspell, a classic. Grim Monolith, good mana acceleration. Temporary though. Sapphire Medallion, this is great. Alright, now we're on to the 3 drops. And of course, the most important 3 drop is the Commander. But we don't always cast it on 3. Sometimes we like to, lay down a Rhystic Study. Draw some cards. Back to basics. Destroy some decks. Propaganda helps you stay alive. And all those do add devotion. Dictate of Kruphix. Narset, Part of Veils. This is a really good card for my Windfall effects, or Time Spiral. True Name Nemesis. You just got to make sure you choose the right player. Thassa, Adel Acquisitor. This can steal an artifact, which, for the most part, people at least have a Soul Ring. So if this just gets a Soul Ring, that's great. But it can get, a sword. It can get something really good. Vendilion Click. A little bit of interaction. Harbinger of the Seas. A very good hate bear. It's just back to basics on a creature. Intuition, instant speed, card selection. At a downside, having to bin a couple cards, but you can get something pretty good. Forbid. Dissolve. Capsize. This is probably the best card for if I get infinite mana, because then I can just, return everything to everyone's hands. And then maybe do a Windfall. Vendalkin Shackles. This is a way to steal creatures. Windfall. Oh man, this card is so good. Especially if I happen to have Narset out. Blue Sun Zenith. This is a win condition, but it's also a card draw spell. All right, we are on to the 4 drops. Master of the Waves, a classic blue devotion card. Works very well with a card you'll see shortly, which is Opposition. Clever Impersonator. You never know what you might be able to copy. All right, Opposition. So this is the one that was really good with Master of the Waves. Turns my creatures into, icy manipulators. Venser, Shaper Savant. Just versatile. And of course it gets you 2 devotion. Alright, Sower of Temptation. Creature Steal. Very good counterspell, Cryptic Command. Factor Fiction. 3 and Dynamo. All right, we are on to the 5 drops. Treachery. Jace, Memory Adept. This is an alternate win condition. Being able to mill. So if someone goes infinite, you gotta, kill them on a different axis. The Unagi of Kyoshi Island. This is a new card from Avatar, and it's very good. You can play it at instant speed, which is important, but being able to draw 2 cards whenever an opponent draws their second is great value, and it does happen in multiplayer. So, and then of course, ward means that it's not always simple to kill. So, misdirection, great for if you're tapped out and they think you can't do anything. Well, think again. I got misdirection. Memory Jar. Very powerful card. I guess I do abuse it when I have Narset out, but well, I guess there are ways that this card gets just way too much value, but I'm not doing anything where I'm like recurring it from a graveyard. So in that standpoint, I don't feel bad about casting it. And who knows, a card an opponent draws might actually win them the game. You never know. Desertion. Powerful counterspell that can give me the creature or the artifact. Force of Will, one of the best. Bribery. Now this is really good. In multiplayer, you just gotta make sure you choose the right opponent, but if you choose the right opponent, you might get something crazy. Time Warp. I don't own a Time Walk, so Time Warp it is. Snapcaster Mage, targeting Time Warp. Torrential Gear Hulk. Good targets for this, of course, are Cryptic Command, Dig Through Time, Factor Fiction, Intuition, Counterspell. Time Spiral. Man, just such a good card. Now, if I have this out, Shrine of Nykthos, being able to untap lands, can be extremely valuable. Planetarium of Wan Shitong. Card that interacts very well with Thassa, because since I'm scrying every turn, I'll have chances to activate this. This is a way to get infinite mana, Palinchron. You just need enough devotion so that when you're untapping it, you're netting mana. Then we're on to the 8 drops, Treasure Cruise, and Dig Through Time. And then on the land front, it's just 1 Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, and then 35 Island. So the way the game plays out, most of the time, you just try to go pretty wide. And hopefully you're able to interact with the right opponents, steal the right creatures, counter the right spells. Because eventually it'll be clear that you are the threat. It just matters how soon that's realized. Multiplayer, it's a very dynamic game. Every game's different. But, this is a very fun deck. It's a good deck in that it's fairly straightforward in how you want to play it. You want to hit your land drops. You want to developed the board through just, casting. The creatures are clearly not super strong, but if I'm able to get enough card advantage, I can overcome the fact that, I might not have the biggest creatures, but if I still develop a wide board, I can make sure that I can get all my attacks through making stuff unblockable. So, it can still be a threat. It's just blue is not typically known for being able to play head to head in a combat game, because generally blue wins through control. And that's the unique part about mono blue devotion, is that I'm fine with tapping out on my turn and developing my board. The times that I do leave my mana up, you should be worried, but I don't mind just getting more and more devotion, because the more I get, when I run into a card like Master of the Waves, if I have a significant number of blue pips on the board, making 10 creatures is oftentimes enough, to win, in subsequent turns. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this deck tech for Thassa, God of the Sea. Changes that I hope to make in the near future. A card that I want to get that I don't own is Mana Drain, and I think Mana Drain, it's like the perfect counterspell. It probably is the best counterspell, but I don't own one yet, so that's the next card I'm hoping to get to upgrade. But anytime they release a good 2-drop, like a blue card, I'm always looking for it, because those are probably the best cards you can get to make sure that you curve out and make Thassa a creature in a reasonable time frame. So if you have any questions, let me know. If you have any suggestions, do the same. Thanks.